our last course in the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Learning Path. In this module, I'm going to share with you the Green Belt Certification Exam syllabus as well as sample exam questions. Once you are through this module, you'll be ready for your Green Belt Certification Exam. I'll offer you details on how to purchase it and about the exam itself in the coming videos. However, and this is very important, download and review the official training manual before taking the exam. You probably know this already, but the official training manual is a free-to-download PDF, which you can find at sixsigmacouncil.org. Our courses are a faithful reproduction of all manuals available at the Council for Six Sigma Certification. Our next video within this module will be a presentation of the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam syllabus. And by now, if you watched all our courses about Lean Six Sigma in both Yellow and Green Belt learning paths, you already mastered most of the content in the syllabus. Next, I'll present you with the Green Belt Certification Exam sample questions, so you can better understand what you are going to find in your actual exam. This won't be a long video. I'm going to show you only a few questions, but there is a reason for that, and you'll understand this reason why we study the exam syllabus together. At last, I'll summarize our course in the course summary video, our last video in the present course. Once more, before proceeding, please know that this is an audio and visual representation of the official Green Belt publication, produced based on Pluralsight instructional design guidelines and templates. All content within this course was used with permission from the Council for Six Sigma Certification. In this video, we're going to study the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam syllabus. The official CSSC, or Council for Six Sigma Certification, Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam consists of 100 questions. It is an open book format examination, and we encourage the use of the free self-study guide issued by the Council for Six Sigma Certification while you take the exam. It makes no sense that you don't take advantage of this benefit. You have 2 hours to complete the CSSC Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam. The exam consists of multiple choice and true or false questions from the major sections of the CSSC Lean Six Sigma Green Belt body of knowledge. The official CSSC Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam can be taken either online, utilizing the link that you can find at the CSSC website, or at designated testing centers located worldwide. I advise you to take the online exam. It is simpler, it is cheaper, and you'll have 3 attempts, as I'll explain soon enough. The current examination assessment fee is of $159. Applicants will have 3 attempts to successfully pass the exam with a required minimum score. If unsuccessful after 3 attempts, well, then the student will need to pay the examination assessment fee again. I don't believe you'll need more than 1 try, however. Considering it is an open book exam, you can check for references on the official Green Belt Training Manual PDF whenever you need to. It is just a matter of downloading it and reading it before the exam. And to read it is even optional considering you watched our courses. Nevertheless, I recommend you do so. To successfully obtain the professional designation of a CSSC Certified Lean Six Sigma Green Belt issued by the Council for Six Sigma Certification, candidates must successfully complete the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam and achieve a score of 280 points or higher out of a total of 400 possible points. There are no prerequisites for taking the CSSC Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification Exam. Once the examination assessment fee is paid, applicants will have 1 year to successfully pass the exam. There is no project requirement for this certification. However, the certification is a requirement for any individual wishing to pursue the Level 2 Green Belt certification, which does have a project participation requirement. I recommend that you move straight to the Black Belt certification and not to the Level 2 Green Belt certification, unless it is something the company you work for demands. The CSSC recommends that any individual wanting to successfully pass the official certification exam obtain Six Sigma training either through a qualified training provider or by studying the free self-study guide issued by the Council for Six Sigma Certification. For those candidates that feel the need to re-familiarize themselves with the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt methodology, all you need to do is review the free self-study guide and the corresponding body of knowledge on the subject, which you can find online at the CSSC website for free. After successfully fulfilling the certification requirements, candidates will receive an official CSSC Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification, a PDF, issued by the Council for Six Sigma Certification, the most respected accrediting organization in the Lean Six Sigma industry. The CSSC certifications have no expiration date. The CSSC feels that certifications that require renewals only serve to increase the profits of the certification providers, instead of benefiting the individual. Candidates who would like to obtain a more recent certification date can always proceed for the certification exam at any time, often for less money than a provider would charge for a renewal. Upon completion of the requirements, individuals are issued a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification in an electronic form. All certifications contain a verifiable certification number, and the certification holder is added to the Council for Six Sigma Certification official register. And please, I'll say this again, download the Green Belt Training Manual from the Council for Six Sigma Certification to make sure you know exactly what to look for in the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Certification exam. The PDF summary is the perfect representation of the exam content. In this video, we're going to study sample Green Belt Certification Exam questions. In the coming slides, I'll present you questions and their alternatives, and you'll have to pick the one alternative you believe is correct. All questions will be very similar because the main goal of this video is to teach you how to answer questions in the exam, not to teach you concepts, tools, or techniques. And before proceeding, make sure you have a PDF copy of the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Training Manual. Here's our first question. Which statement about non-normal probability distributions is incorrect? Alternative A. In an exponential distribution, the data is not organized around the mean as in the normal probability curve, but at one end of the x-axis. Log-normal distributions are often used when working with datasets that describe time durations. The central limit theorem states that the distribution of the mean of a large, identically distributed number of independent variables will approximate the normal curve. And the Poisson distribution is not used when dealing with data that is distributed randomly within time, distance, or other unit of measurement. The correct answer here is alternative D. The Poisson distribution is not used when dealing with data that is distributed randomly within time, distance, or other unit of measurement. To better prepare you for the exam, to teach you the reasoning and the mindset you should have for it, the best way to go is not to offer you the rationale of each alternative or question, but to let you search the official PDF for the answer. So download the Green Belt Training Manual and use the search tool to find Poisson's description. That's the way you should operate during your exam. With the exception that during the exam, I do not recommend that you use the PDF because most institutions won't allow it. So this is not right. What you have to do is print the book and search manually for the description of each technique. That's the best way to go, all right? But right now I'm going to use the search tool to teach you how to think and how to operate during the exam. That's the same logic. So if you open the official training manual on page 286, you'll find more about Poisson distribution in details. That's it. You just got the answer right. But again, it's not something mandatory that you read the book. But if you truly want to take advantage from the fact that this is an open book exam, read it. Because when time comes, you'll be able to quickly find description of techniques and to get alternatives right to really reach a high score in the exam. Next question. Which statement about hypothesis testing is incorrect? Alternative A, the one-sample t-test or pair test is used when comparing means and dealing with smaller samples. The Mann-Whitney test is used when comparing medians between samples of two factors of X. For Six Sigma teams, hypothesis testing is an activity typically found in the first two phases of a DMake project, define and measure, and the null hypothesis is rejected if the p-value is less than the alpha value. The correct alternative is C. For Six Sigma teams, hypothesis testing is an activity typically found in the first two phases of a DMake project, define and measure. Remember that the original question was which statement is incorrect, and alternative C is incorrect when it comes to hypothesis testing. If you can't feel sure about this, please open your Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Training Manual. Please open it even if you are totally sure about the answer for practice sake. I'm going to open the PDF file. So if you are using Google Chrome, open it and press Ctrl+F while with the file open in one tab. This will enable the search tool. Now type in hypothesis test in the search box and look for the description of this technique and for ways to support alternative C. This is a very good way of studying, alright? But again, I don't recommend that you do the same thing as I am showing you now during the exam. Print the PDF and manually search for the concepts that will show up in the questions. That's the correct way to go if you really want to feel safe about taking your exam. Once more, institutions that allow for open book exams online usually do not accept that you use this technique during the exam. But this technique represents what you have to do manually. And here it is, chapter 21, hypothesis testing. You can do the same thing manually, alright? Okay, once more. Which statement about sample t-testing is incorrect? And remember, we are looking for an incorrect statement, not for the correct statement. Alternatives are A. A type 1 error occurs when you reject a null hypothesis during a hypothesis test when in fact the null hypothesis is true. B. Analysis of variance, ANOVA, uses more than one factor for X. C. Attribute data almost always requires a larger sample size for accurate results than continuous data does. And alternative D. A type 2 error occurs when you accept a null hypothesis when it is in fact not true. So what's the incorrect statement? Pause the video if you need to reflect upon it. And the correct answer is alternative B. Analysis of variance, or ANOVA, uses more than one factor for X. To check if that's the correct alternative, just use the technique I taught you in our previous question. Do it. It is important that you do so. Please do not think for a second that because this is an open book exam, you will easily find all answers. That's not how it goes. So if you choose to use the book during the exam, it's really, really important that you read it. You don't have to, right? You can use the summary and look for the description of the techniques and so on. This may work. I'm not saying it won't. But as the saying goes, it's better be safe than sorry. I've already taken exams at the CSSC website, and I can tell you this, most exams will use direct references from the book. That's why I'm teaching you to search for the description of each technique and concept in the book, because most alternatives will be based on it and most questions will. Also, correct alternatives, most of the time, will have a direct reference from the book. That's why I'm sharing with you this now. So it's very important that you acknowledge this fact. I'm sure that if you watched all our Lean Six Sigma Yellow and Green Belt courses here at Pluralsight, you got this. Just access the CSSC website, purchase your exam, and take it online. You're good to go. Once more, it's not mandatory that you read the Green Belt Training Manual, but if you are thinking about using it during the exam, to read the book will work for your advantage. It was my privilege to be your instructor during this course and this learning path. I hope you enjoyed our time together. I worked hard to create the best possible course based on our source material, which is the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Training Manual from the Council for Six Sigma Certification. To adapt a book into an online course has its challenges, but I believe me and my team with Pluralsight support were successful in doing so. As a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, I believe that if you came this far, you are more than ready to work leading projects and supporting experts. Do not wait, go on and take your certification exam right away. You are more than ready for it. We started our course with a course overview module, a quick 2 minutes module that introduced you to the benefits of taking our course and what was in for you by taking it. Next, I taught you about how to apply data to real-world situations, which was a module where I reviewed statistical concepts and introduced you to how you can use all statistical distribution types to your benefit: exponential distribution, log-normal distribution, Weibull, Cauchy, logistic, and Laplace distribution, as well as uniform, beta, gamma, and triangular distribution. We also studied binomial distribution, its formula and application. We did the same for the Poisson distribution equation, and we wrapped up our module with geometric distribution and negative binomial distribution. Our next module was on how to apply hypothesis tests, which is a central technique to Lean Six Sigma. On it, we started by reviewing hypothesis testing basics. Next, we studied new, alternative, and right hypothesis tests. We also made considerations on hypothesis tests for discrete and normal data. I taught you proportion tests, the 1 and 2 sample t-tests, the Mann-Whitney test, the best way to run hypothesis tests, and general considerations about hypothesis testing applied to the DMake methodology. Then, we moved to the Presenting Statistics in Lean Six Sigma module, where together we studied the common challenges when presenting statistical analysis. I offered you tips for creating business-friendly presentations, how you can understand your target audience, techniques related to storytelling, and best practice such as being clear and concise in your presentations. Our last module, the present module, was all about the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification exam. I started offering you details on the exam, such as price and overall information related to its syllabus. Next, I introduced you to sample exam questions and how you can benefit from the fact that the exam is an open book exam and that you have 3 attempts to pass based on 1 single exam voucher. Finally, we got to the present clip, our course summary clip. That's it. Thank you once more for the opportunity of teaching you about Lean Six Sigma. I am sure you are ready for the Green Belt certification exam, and I hope to see you here at Pluralsight for our Lean Six Sigma Black Belt learning path. Bye-bye.